On behalf of the Port of San Diego, we are hopeful that our state and federal leaders will hear us, and we value their partnership in the fight.
This is what can happen when the little guy is consistently ignored by big government. On this day, the little guy has picked up some powerful partners, heavy hitters that will be hard to brush aside.
Today, trans-boundary sewage flows continue unmitigated across these lands, impacting our people, our water, our beaches, our ocean, and our future. We call on the governor to declare a state of emergency because our future is in his hands.
The Port of San Diego is a state-chartered agency with jurisdiction over the coastline from Imperial Beach all the way to Point Loma. As a state agency now asking the state for help, perhaps this is the magic connection to finally get the governor's attention.
Imperial Beach has been in emergency mode for years, and it's time for the state and federal government to get into emergency mode too. We know help is on the way, but moving at the speed of government is not fast enough.
No one denies that this is the longest running environmental disaster in American history, but somehow it doesn't register as a health crisis or catastrophe for the governor or the president, both of whom have the authority to declare a state of emergency but don't.
The Port of San Diego has joined our call for a state of emergency. This builds on a letter that we sent last week by all 18 mayors in the county calling on Governor Newsom to declare a state of emergency.
So it's more than an emergency. It has been an ignored travesty that has been ignored by both sides of the border, has been ignored by a lot of locals, and particularly by the state and federal government.
Make no mistake, this is a serious health crisis for people on both sides of the border. They have been poisoned by raw sewage and toxic waste for generations now. The Mexican government, of course, created this crisis, but the Tijuana River ends in the U.S., yet neither side appears to have the political will or the incentive to stop it.
We're standing next to the biggest environmental emergency in the United States right now, but the state of California and the federal government are not acting like it. The failure of the state of California and the federal government to declare a state of emergency is just the beginning. The biggest failure right now is Congress. Congress is failing to appropriate enough money to build these projects. Without additional funding, 8 out of the 10 projects identified cannot be completed.